Good morning. My name is Godfrey Naane, scientist in the soil science section. I'm going to present to you the effect of fertilizer application practices on groundnuts yield. Introduction: the groundnuts yield. The farmers in the Moroccan area, that is the area on the outskirts of Freiburg at the Dr. Rousseau Mompati district, had a concern about their yields on groundnuts production. Despite the soil being of high potential, they still experienced lower yields. So it was concluded that a soil science section be commissioned to carry out a survey or a study to find out what could be the problem. We found out that the farmers were not using the correct production practices like fertilization, cultivation methods, planting date, and harvesting techniques. The dominant soil types in that area were hardened soils and also the clovelis, which are of high potential. The rainfall in that area is about 390 millimeters per annum, which is very low for the production of groundnuts. It was concluded that a demonstration trial be established in that area so as to address these problems. Also, other variables were included in the trial. This is Khasiatlana crop production project where the trial took place or where the project took place. Objectives. We had the main objective, which was to empower the farmers with the necessary skills and modern technology utilized in crop production. Short-term objectives: to determine the effect of rhizobium bacteria and phosphorus solubilizer by seed inoculation on groundnut yield. Fertilizer practices on the build-up soil fertility levels. That is, soil samples will be taken before planting and after harvesting to check the build-up of soil fertility levels. Crop rotation on groundnut yield, that is, maize will be rotated with groundnuts. Long-term objective: to evaluate the economic viability of groundnuts production in the Moroccan area. That is it economically viable to plant groundnuts in that area? Materials and methods. At the beginning of the project, we started with production practices that would mainly address the problems for the farmers. Primary cultivation. We started with a ripping of the soil to break the compacted layers, followed by secondary cultivation. Planting time. According to rainfall statistics in the area, more rainfall came during December, so we planted groundnuts during December time to coincide germination and flowering stage with the amount of moisture available in the soil. Other treatments included mineral and biofertilization as treatments. That is, groundnuts without fertilization, groundnuts with NPK, groundnuts with the rhizobium bacteria, groundnuts with phosphorus solubilizer, groundnuts with rhizobium bacteria and phosphorus solubilizer. That is the combination of these two inoculants. Also, maize without fertilization rotated with groundnuts without fertilization, maize with mineral fertilizer rotated with groundnuts without fertilization. Treatments were replicated 4 times. The trial had 7 treatments and 4 replications, the total of 28 plots. The trial was a randomized complete block design with the blocks serving as replications. The groundnut plots had 0.767 meters between the rows with the inter-row spacing of 10 meters. The maize plots had the row spacing of 2.3 meters with the inter-row spacing of 25 centimeters. The size of the plots was 11.5 meters broad and 17 meters long for both groundnuts and maize. About 12 rows of groundnuts and 6 rows of maize were planted per plot. Sampling dates, that is 2003, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. Results and discussion. Unshared groundnuts yield in kilograms per hectare. This table illustrates the results for different seasons of production and rotation with maize as well as hay yields in season 2004-2005, as it is noticed with the results in brackets. Let's start with the first season. The unshared groundnuts yield results for 2002-2003 season were not significantly different among the treatments, except for groundnuts with NPK fertilizer, where lower yields were obtained as compared to other 4 treatments. The groundnuts with NPK fertilizer had poor germination, which was caused by the burning effect from fertilizer applied with the defective planter. You'll notice that in this treatment, the results are low with about half a ton. Yield reduction was about 68% with the average of 1.1 tons per hectare. Second season, 2003-2004. You'll notice that no results are shown on the table. The reason being, cattle invaded the trial site. They ate all the plants on the trial site, so no results were obtained. The third season, or the second production season. During the third season of rotation, the groundnuts without fertilization, maize with NPK rotated with groundnuts with no fertilization, maize without fertilization, and groundnuts without fertilization treatments had the groundnuts hay yield of 0.54 tons per hectare, while the combination of the inoculants, that is the rhizobium and phosphorus solubilizer treatments, had 1.07 tons per hectare of the hay yield. The rhizobium bacteria treatments, the groundnuts with NPK and the groundnuts with phosphorus solubilizer were yielding in between the 2 mentioned groups with an average yield of 0.77 tons per hectare. Therefore, The combination of these two inoculant treatments had 98% more groundnuts hay compared to 0.45 tons per hectare in the control treatment. Two 2005-2006 season. The unshared groundnuts had no difference among treatments during the third season of production, with the average of 1.15 tons per hectare. Conversely, the groundnuts with NPK treatment had the higher groundnuts hay yield during the third season of rotation compared to other four treatments planted to groundnuts. That is the average of 1.84 and compared to 1.34 tons per hectare. Similar to groundnuts hay yield, the two treatments planted to maize had maize with fertilization rotated with groundnuts without fertilization yield more grain than maize without fertilization and groundnuts without fertilization. That is 2.52 versus 1.2 tons per hectare during the third season of rotation. Season 2006-2007, you'll also notice that there is no results. The reason being the rain came late, so we couldn't plant during this particular season. 2007-2008 season, which is the last season, we had the average result of 1.6 tons per hectare, with the groundnuts with phosphorus solubilizer and the combination of the two inoculants yielding about 1.6 tons per hectare. This graph illustrates the average results across all seasons, that is 2003, 2005, and 2006 for unshared groundnuts yield. From the first season, groundnuts with NPK had lower yields on average, with just below 1 ton per hectare. Combination of two inoculants and also the rhizobium bacteria treatments had higher results compared to others, with about 1.4 and 1.45 tons per hectare respectively. Maize with rotation with groundnuts also had higher results, with an average yield of 1.4 tons per hectare. Conclusion: biofertilizers, that is inoculation of seeds, had higher yields, which was recommended to the farmers in order to increase their yields for groundnuts production. Groundnuts are very sensitive to direct application of mineral fertilizers. That is, when you apply the NPK or mineral fertilizer direct to the seeds, it can have results which are not intended to. Rotation of groundnuts with maize also slightly increased the results of groundnuts. That is, if you rotate these two crops, you can have higher results. Thank you.